Now first, to start off the haircut, I like to start in the back. Now, seeing as how we're using our fingers, we're not using a comb at all. So we're just gonna lightly part that off with our fingers. So we're going to part that down the center. Again, when we're separating, you just want to find that little opening in the hair itself. Open that up. And we're taking slightly vertical diagonal partings. Now we're just gonna lightly stretch the hair because again, you wanna keep that curl pattern as true to its usual form as possible. Most curly girls don't wanna lose a lot of length. So now we're gonna go in and just point cut that. So again, taking that diagonal vertical section, I'm going to take my guide from the center, I'm going to bring that over and over direct that to that new guide. We want to make sure that we're not pulling the curl too tight because then we're straightening it and then that is going to spring up shorter. So moderate amount of tension to where you can still see the ridges of your curls. Because the effect of this is that it's going to be slightly longer in that center and then a little shorter in the sides. All right, so now you can see that we're starting to get our shape. The bottom I cut last because as you can see, we start to get that little point, which you can keep that. Totally up to you. So that's one of the reasons that I call it a sweetheart haircut, is because you do end up with that point. So now we're going to go to our next section and drop that down. Now again, we're just going to be lightly separating the hair. So what you want to do, this is pretty much where the occipital or high point of the head and crown kind of meet. So we're going to be separating from there. I'm just going to go underneath the curls. So right here, you can see where we built up a little bit with that vertical diagonal, and that provides our little base, and as well as the start of that sweetheart kind of shape. Now, the reason that I switched to horizontal in this middle section is that I literally want to build up on that weight and build a platform for the top to sit over. Once you go in and you pull, you're now separating all of these pieces of hair and you're creating frizz.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying you would want to go in, lightly separate with your hands to find exactly where the curl actually clumped together and separates on its own and lifts up without having to separate the curl itself. So now that is where I'm still going over that middle section where we were doing the horizontal cutting, but now I'm just fluffing it.
Okay.
So that I can see where that nice platform that I've created is sitting and where I may need to round out some of those sections. All right, so I'm not gonna have that much to do in the top. So there's gonna be minimal amount of length taken off, but in this section, I'm gonna switch back to vertical. So with this top section, as I said, I don't wanna create a perfectly rounded shape. I just wanna marry in the top curls with the bottom very loosely, so that way she has the option of wearing it forward, wearing it off to the side, if she wants, wearing it all back and not having like these random long pieces that hang over. Again, I'm just finding that little section right here where, again, if I were to just let that drop, it would actually just like overhang that area. That's why right now I'm bringing that up a little higher so that I am rounding this tiny little section. So now I've fluffed this out. I like where my shape is at. Now I'm just gonna collapse her a little bit. This is nice for just waking up the curls a little bit without having to completely mist it down and start all over again, which you can do. It depends on what look you're going for. Okay, so invisible wear, boomerang, restyling mist. And that is our finished look.